The breaking inputs that we're getting in here, that the DGCA, which is the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, that is likely to ground over 130 pilots. Now remember, this is a huge number. The DGCA cracks on 130 pilots to be grounded and another 430 cabin crew members of the national carrier Air India for allegedly skipping the mandatory pre- and post-flight alcohol test. They've been skipping their alcohol tests and they're to be grounded. These crew members, they had reportedly evaded the breath analyzer test, which is to be taken over a period of time for flights to and from certain destinations such as Singapore, Kuwait, Bangkok, Ahmedabad and Goa. This is a huge development here that is coming in. We have with us our correspondent Hina getting us further details here. Hina, help us understand how this came about. The very fact that you had pilots and cabin crew members choosing not to give this test.
Well, absolutely. And what's more shocking is the numbers. 566 cabin crew members and pilots. Now, these are likely to get grounded. It's going to be a major blow to Air India, which in any case is in dire straits right now. Remember, the government is trying very hard for its disinvestment as well. Now, this is going to be a big shock for Air India. But what is interesting here in this case is the fact that DGCA is not going to ground all of them together. So it's going to happen perhaps in batches of say 34 or 35 at one point in time. And they are going to get grounded for about 3 months. Now the reason why this happened is something that even we were very curious about, and when we asked DGCA officials about this reason, so they said perhaps there was some sort of a confusion that, because usually these crew members and pilots, they don't miss the pre-flight breath analyzer test, which is done to find out whether the crew member or the pilot has consumed alcohol or not before flying any particular flight, which is not allowed as per the regulator's norms. So DGCA officials tell us that perhaps it was some sort of a confusion because they have never seen this kind of a number in terms of those missing the pre-flight breath analyzer test. But definitely they have done this. It's a mistake.
The time
some
period
action will have to be taken.
For how many months had they been missing this breath analyzer test, which is compulsory?
Well, this is something, it's a data that they have compiled in the last few months. That's the number of crew members and pilots who have been repeatedly missing. And that's the reason why this action is being taken now. That about 566 odd pilots and crew members. This is according to DGCA's data that they have compiled, that these are the ones who will have to get punished, will have to get grounded for at least 3 months for skipping the pre-breath analyzer test.
Okay, and Hina, as you've been pointing out, this is a huge number. This, without doubt, is going to be coming in as a huge blow to Air India. But our primary concern, of course, is the safety of passengers. The very fact that they were going ahead, taking flights, flying commercial planes, flying commercial flights there, with doing away, with entirely skipping the breath analyzer test. That's the worrisome bit here. Hina, that question for you.
Well, absolutely. And, it is also important to note that the pilots and crew members, they cannot put the lives of passengers at risk when they are flying. And they certainly cannot mix aviation with alcohol. That's the message that's being sent by DGC. And that's the reason why instead of, asking them to, okay, fine, that, you've done it first time, we will not punish you this time. They are adamant that they need to be punished. There needs to be an example set for such people so that this kind of a thing doesn't happen in the future. Because if there is a test, remember, which is mandatory for all crew members, for all pilots to take before flying, what is the point of missing it if they haven't really done anything wrong? It's as simple as that.
Certainly, there should be zero tolerance on this issue because you're putting lives of passengers at risk. You do not have the option of skipping the breath analyzer test. Hina, is there a word here in this report that's coming from other private airlines as well? Or is this action taken based on the report only on Air India? Okay, we're going to be reconnecting with Hina on that to get in more details. But just to help you understand the gist of this, the DGCA has come hard on Air India pilots and crew members, a total of 560, which means 130 pilots and 430 cabin crew members have been grounded for 3 months' time because they refused to take the pre- and post-flight breath analyzer test.